And in the last 5 years, it has changed. In the last 2 years, it's changed. And even more recently, in the last year now for myself, I've noticed things as well. So I've actually taken a bit of a note where I've noticed that there are certain things I like and dislike in football spaces. And I'm sure a lot of people may agree. A lot of people may also disagree with these things. But this is what I've observed, as I've said, through watching the content, through comments, through the chat, talking amongst other people in group chats and DMs and things like that as well, seeing what's being said on Twitter and comments. And we're going to go through it. So I've put together a little, it's not really a slideshow, but there are some main points as to what I deem to be pertinent to these particular topics. So without further ado, let's get through this. So what makes good content? For me, good content is an honest discussion. So people that are not there to bullshit or come with false pretenses, not be disingenuous, be there to actually have a conversation. A cordial conversation, not yelling, not shouting, not cutting people off, being polite, basically letting people speak and then responding in kind. As Dale likes to say, what does he say? Listen to respond, not to react, or something like that. Jokes and banter. Some streams are just littered with banter non-stop. It becomes to the point of, I didn't come here for a comedy show. I want to hear some match-going fans talk about their football team or what they think about rivals or whatever it is, and sometimes it just takes precedence, and it just becomes a little bit of hard listening. Letting others talk sort of is also joint with the cordial conversations, but there's nothing more frustrating than hearing somebody speak and then hearing somebody else cut them off and then jumping in over them and speaking objectively. So no agendas, no trying to make it about one particular thing or being biased because of rivalry, because of tribalism and the like. So that's what's for me. This is all for me, by the way, and based on what I've seen in the online world. This is for me good content. Well, if there's the good, what's the bad? Running the agendas, shouting over people, interrupting non-stop, massive egos, that plays a big part as well. The egos are definitely a thing in this space. Aggression or disruptions in debates or discussions, and attacks on persons. And many of you know DJ N1, I hope you're taking notes of some. This is not what it's about. This is not directed at any one person. This is just a collective. Okay, this is a collective, right? But hey, DJ N1 is basically saying if the shoe fits, then wear it. But that's definitely what I am saying. So we will look at this and say that the attacks on the persons definitely not a good thing. 2K Universe, that group of Said and rants that are so toxic as a fan base. I think the United fans have a right to be toxic amongst themselves, or maybe even in a sense of, not toxic, but they have a reason to be annoyed with one another. We've also got Yorkshire Gunner in the chat. Olu's here as well. If only they were on the group chat yesterday. I would love to know what group chat that was. But yeah, bad content, the agendas, the shouting, the interrupt, and it's very easy to set somebody off. All you have to do is just put a loaded question out there, claim one person is better than another, one player is better than another player, and then see them pop off. It happens so bloody often. It becomes so frustrating that these men cannot let go what was said, and they have to automatically go and defend their man or defend their club. Like I've always said, if I'm having a conversation about Mo Salah, for example, his numbers have been a little bit low, but he's been playing well, and if only the others could put some crosses in and things like that. I'm not going to sit there and go hell for leather and defend Mo Salah if somebody says, yeah, but Saka's better. Okay, cool, good for you. I'm going to continue saying what I'm saying. That's the bad content for me. A lot of the shouting and all that sort of stuff, it becomes frustrating to the point where you just can't listen to it anymore. And you see it in the chat. The chat will even say, okay, enough of this, move on. But hosts or 1v1s, they just cannot tend to just separate themselves, and they'll have to, they just have to keep on going. So that was the bad content. Well, bad content, what comes after that? Good comments. good comments. I disagree because, and then putting a reason behind it, or your thoughts or opinions. Adding to the discussion or topic, making a correction, like actually, Salah only scored 9 penalties, not 10, for example. Therefore, he doesn't fit the criteria for blah, blah, blah. Things like that are a thing. They are helpful. Showing appreciation or polite disagreement. Say, I disagree because this and that, blah, blah, blah. Corrections as well. It probably goes alongside adding to the discussion. So the corrections are there. Even just people simply dropping like, I can't believe we didn't do this and blah, blah, blah. I'm so nervous. Those things are also helpful as well, because it shows the person interacting with the man or the woman are going to put their comments in there because they resonate with what's being said, or their disagreement is, well, actually, I don't think so because blah, 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 or I'm not that worried because X, Y, Z. Those things are okay. Those things are okay, right? Well, what about bad comments? You're an idiot, which is generally bad. You're delusional, a waffler. You need the context. You need the context in that, i.e., is it football related? Am I a waffler because of my football stances, or am I a waffler just because I'm a waffler? If you're going to come at the person directly, which flows onto the personal attacks and threats, that's a big no-no too. It's one thing I can't stand is when I see it in the chat, and I call that out as well. I called it out on Hassam's stream the other day on El Ahwa. People were saying, you're Canadian this, or you're an idiot and you're a donkey and you don't know anything and shut up. And I'm just like, bro, like, enough with the ad hominem attacks. We don't need people saying this stupidness. We don't need any of these things. We don't need to hear you or see you saying stupidness, as Deji likes to say, and hooks about people. Like they say, attack the argument, not the person. If someone says something that's a little bit mad, okay, counter them. Then just call them idiots for the sake of calling them idiots. Tofu says he doesn't care about civility. Shouting matches are fine as long as people involved is not that deep and are having fun. I suppose that's true, but how often can shouting matches be fun before you get to the point of breaking, where you're like, I can't do this shit anymore, and then the other person claims victory like they've done something? And of course, toxicity due to rivalry and tribalism sort of goes back to, not letting other people rattle you. Klopp won this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but he won one in, 6 years and none of us. Okay, cool. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something else. Or, Saka's numbers are better than XYZ. It's like, bro, I'm like, it gets a little bit to that point, man. It does get a little bit to that point. The comment here, Castro, big ups. It says, if I'm being honest, YouTube football content has got a bit boring, as most content is about taking the piss out of fan bases rather than proper football talk. It's all about bantering teams now. Brother, if I could star this on OBS, I would. I could not sum it up better myself, and I'm 99.9% sure if I go back to previous videos of mine, older videos from October, November, December, hell, I'll probably be saying the exact same thing because I'm of that same opinion. So, let me get a quick drink of water here, then we'll continue. By the way, big ups to you 19 people tuning in right now. Have Hope is actually entertaining for me. And his voice ain't that bad either. He's got a very demanding voice. I like his voice. His voice is very, very good. I don't mind his voice. And that's just a presentation thing, just having radio background and stuff like that. So, 1v1 panels, debates, conversations. They can be calm or aggressive depending on the tone. Like when you watch, for example, Deji and Northside. I was listening to them for a bit this morning. There's a bit of banter there. There is a bit of passion running through, but they're not being, overly aggressive with one another. Deji's Deji, Northside is Northside, but they're not there berating one another, cussing them out non-stop. Like you'll see, for example, like Robbie and Expressions just have a roast battle every time they're on stream on Best of Enemies. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Roasting each other non-stop. And that is funny because they're friends in real life and they like to have a bit of conversation and they want to razz each other up and take the piss, which fine. For me personally, it does get annoying every now and again, but I get it. I understand. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. It is what it is. But if they're coming from an aggressive stance where you've got rivals of clubs and they're very strong egos and personalities on either side and they're just not seeing eye to eye and they start arguing to the point where one's threatening the other to throw punches, that's probably not ideal. And if you know, you know. Not ideal. Personalities, that work and the chemistry involved, that's always good as well. It's, you can have someone who's very knowledgeable in something that they speak about, but if there's no chemistry, if there's no gelling there, if there's no banter happening naturally, it sort of does become a bit of a dull watch, where if someone's asking questions but they're not throwing a bit of jokes back, they're not being proactive, but they're being reactive, sometimes can be a bit of a difficult watch. Again, these are all things that I've noticed and things that I look at myself. So these are my opinions and what I've seen from people in comments and chats along the way. Big ups to Sava, Football Heritage TV. He says, it's all tribal. It's got very silly. Fans are so set on defending their own team players and managers that they don't see the truth. 90% is based off hope and not reality. Again, couldn't have said it better myself. I think there is a fair, true statement in all that. I do not disagree. Not one bit at all. So, that's the 1v1 debates. Again, ideas discussed and topics. What's the topic du jour? What is the topic of the day? Are we looking at signings and injuries now? Are we looking at players on international duty? Are we looking at who's the better winger? Who's the better this? Who's the better that? Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes the topic at hand, even though they are good people on stream, sometimes it's just not worth listening to, or you just can't get into it for whatever reason. But some people will just listen for the sake of listening because they enjoy it, and that's all good. No slide on them. What may not be for you, for me, it could be for you. Olu says, just say you enjoy listening to me. Bruv. Dunning-Kruger. That's all we have to say. Moderation of the discussion as well. If it's 1v1, it's pretty easy to moderate. Obviously, you only got 2 people on there. And if it the motives of the host or participants as well, what are they there for? Are they there to antagonize? Are they there to have a proper conversation? Are they there to run the agendas? Are they there to stitch them up? At what point do we say this is going to be past the point of a conversation, and now it's just going to be a let's have to type something in the chat. And is this now going to be just an absolute piss take where we're just trying to get reactions out of people, clip them up and things like that? Abdi, 100%. Potts is decent to listen to. Most are just, I enjoy Potts. Big up to Bobby Bounce. I make some really valid points. Appreciate that. Make sure everyone's checking out Fan Reaction FC. Big up to Bobby Bounce. He is the man you go to when you're looking at the reactions on your favorite streamers, all the real-time goal reactions. Go to him. He's got some good comments here as well, I have to say. What was it? He has an agenda against Golazo. So if you say Golazo, he will clip you up. Definitely clip you up. And also Sava says, I would say rather Son than Saka. It's taken offense to Spurs fans. Exactly right. If I say opposite, then the Arsenal fans lose their mind. No one can actually bring facts. Exactly. Like if someone says Salah hasn't done as much work as Saka this season, I'm saying, all right, cool. I'm not going to sit there and throw a fit over it. I'm just going to, okay, all right, let's discuss this. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a look. Some people are just way too quick to just come in there and defend their man or their club, and it does become a bit of an annoyance. Solo streams. One-way discussion, like what I'm doing right now. With the chat's involvement, if it's live, which is what this is. So this is a one-way discussion, but the involvement from the chat makes it interactive, yeah? The host's views are made clear, point in case. A nice little slideshow here, making all my points. Everyone can see them, everyone can read them, explaining along the way. You don't have to. I know people just turn on the stream, they'll record something, say what they say, and then it's done and dusted. The chat reacts live, then the comments go after that once he gets watched on the replay. No issues with that whatsoever as well. So long as there is a plan in place, sometimes just off-the-cuff stream also works well. You just hit record, you just say what you say, end record. It might be the most piece of shit thing you've ever said in your life, and it might crack 10,000 views overnight. You just never know. You never know. Sometimes the most honest things are the ones that are done off the cuff, that are unplanned. My experience. No external input. So obviously if it's just me speaking, no one is actually talking with me on stream or anything like that. So it's just one way. It is what it is. Production value applies to all, but especially here. Also goes back to what I was saying at the start as well. Now I did say you can have, no fancy background. Doesn't have to be the most, fascinating backdrop with little trinkets and bits and pieces and things like that. But so long as people can hear you and hear you clearly and they can see you well enough, because for me, you want to hear what somebody's saying. You're obviously not going to see what they're saying. So you can listen in the background with audio. You don't have to actually look at them while they're speaking. But so long as you can hear them clearly, that is the main thing. It is what it is. Now, branding. Branding is important. What do you want to be known as? Like, for example, when you think of, or when I think of Big Six, for example, I think of the debate panels. I think of, Saeed getting dunked on for Man United. Tobes being asked what his favourite trophy that Tottenham Hotspur have won is. Things like that. Shit like that is funny to me. That's what I think of. When I think of, for example, Mark Goldbridge, I think of him yelling non-stop. He goes, "Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and I tell you what," when he does that shit, that's the delivery. Turkey as well on Big Six, "How's it going, people?" where he does this thing like that. Some people do the rubbing of the hands, the text, the logo, the display, the intros, the outros, all those sorts of things. Big ups to Doug, how are you? All those sorts of things are important. You develop a brand for yourself. And when you develop the brand, that's how people tend to know who you are and where you stand, sort of a thing. So people see me and they'll probably think, he's the person who, clips people up and does reactions. Well, they're not clips. I'm merely doing real-time commentary, or I'm doing, it's not really an essay. Nah, it's not an essay. It'd be more like a, what did Saad call me? I'm the Joe Rogan of commentary. I wouldn't even consider myself anywhere near that. Look, I can't think on the spot here. Noggins not working, but we'll say, commentary on the spot, right? That's what it is. People think of me as that. And I might think of somebody else like AFTV just yelling and crying about Arsenal players, for example. It's like, for everyone has their own little two ways about it. But branding is important. What your colors, your logo, the content you produce effectively. What is your brand? Personalities and creators. This is also very, very important for me. Your ego and your character play a massive part. What are you like on stream? Because you can be a very over-the-top ego, or you can be a very hilarious and overly confident ego. Like, for example, Deji, for me, is funny. He is 10 out of 10. I love that shit. He is funny as hell. He says some mad delusional shit, but at the end of the day, I appreciate the character, the ego, whatever it is, because he comes with that sort of like charm of being overly confident when there's no real need to be confident, you know what I mean? But you give it to him because it's funny and you get by in a sense. The characters as well. Do people play characters online? Are they character based? Are they going to be a little bit mad and everything else like that? Just give me 1 second. Just send the text message quickly. Oh man, how is everyone doing, by the way? Let me know in the chats, how you all doing? How is everyone doing on this fine Tuesday? It is Tuesday night for me. It is 10:13 p.m. Yeah. One second. No. Hold on. We do a Saad. Hold on. Texting live on stream. This is how professional I am. Look at this. Professional as is. Bloody hell. Okay. Expressions, the goat of YouTube banter. Bro, that guy can go on non-stop. I wonder if he rehearses his shit. I don't know if... there's no way you can rehearse that sort of stuff. He just says stuff off the cuff. That guy is naturally talented, man. That man should be a stand-up comedian. He should be touring nationally and internationally. I'll tell you what. Fair dinkum. Agreed, Sam. International fans was funny. Yes, who's Matthew Harding? Like, I don't know who Matthew Harding is. It's like, I never watched Matthew Harding. It's like... Oh, bro, I'm not a Chelsea fan, and I at least have some idea who Matthew Harding was. Evidently, he was a former owner, vice chairman, something like that, and that's why he's got his stand in his name. It's madness. Yorkshire Gunner says 3 games in already stressing, crying to me, and I'm not having that. Anyways, let's continue this. Confidence and presentation. How confident are you in what you say? Are you presenting well? Do you mumble? Do you speak clearly into a microphone? Do you have a plan, shall we say? Do you have my mate Chris, United fan? We chat nonstop or almost every day. Oh, did you watch this? Did you watch this? Blah blah blah. And I'll say, man, I've watched this. I'm putting my notes together now, and I'll send him like a screenshot of my notes. He's like, bro, that's a lot of notes. I said, I don't just watch something for like a half hour and then decide, yeah, I'm going to speak about everything that I've watched in this. No, I need to make notes so my points come in clear. I'm not just going to sit there and speak off the cuff. If it's going to be something that's random, I will say, I've not watched this. I don't know what angle I'm taking with this. I'm just going to watch it first time, and I'm just going to give you my thoughts in real time. Normally, when I do a commentary or a breakdown, there are plenty of comments made, so I don't come across sounding like a moron when I'm speaking. So presentation for me is key there, and the confidence in what you say. You might say some absolute waffle, but as long as you're confident, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Sam says it's hate when content creators even talk about gossip they know is bullshit. Interesting. Quantity over quality is the biggest problem in YouTube football. Example, Man United play one match on a Saturday, then 25 channels all have to make 2 videos a day for 7 days to stay relevant. The algorithm is a big indicator, man. The algorithm sucks. If you don't do anything for a couple of days, you fall down, man. That's bad. That is bad, effectively. That's the shit part about it. You need to keep commenting because you need to keep yourself out there. Even like me, like apart from my little video I did on the Thursday or the Friday, whatever it was, I'm like, there was nothing over the week. I had a busy weekend, but I'm like, you know what? I have to put something out there because no one's gonna see my shit. It's just a shit thing you have to do, but you have to do it. You have to do it. Big up, Aaron. How are you? Anyways, this is taking forever. Effectiveness of interaction and delivery. Like me, how effective is my delivery? Are you attentive to it? Do you pay attention to what I say, even if you disagree or you think it's a load of bullshit? Am I interacting with the chat? Am I interacting with people's comments and the like when I see them? And truth be told, I don't really look at comments on videos. I look at the odd one every now and again, but if I stuck to them, I'd probably lose my mind and have to respond to every single one. And I'm just like, I don't have time for all that. Unless I may be on the throne. Maybe I might look through a few video comments and see what happens there. But yeah, the interaction and delivery also plays a massive part as well. And not, cussing out, calling out people in the chat if they disagree with you. It's like, all right, well, we've got a waffler here. Yep, you're banned. Like, they ain't really saying anything that bad. Unless they're being like mad, hateful, or disrespectful, fair enough. But for a disagreement, no, that is. But you said this and that, blah, blah, blah. I never said that, and you're banned. Like that sort of shit, that's petty and sad. And that's some quality H2O. Subjective or objective? Self-explanatory. Calm and rational or loud and confident? Again, self-explanatory. What sort of person are you? Like, calm and rational, who would that be? Who would be calm and rational in this space? Bloody hell. I'll probably say Terry maybe. Terry maybe comes across calm. I don't know about always rational, but we'll say rational, calm and rational. Whereas loud and confident would be expressions. Loud and overly confident. That's just their character. That's the persona. That's what it is. That's how it is portrayed. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That is how some people are. What's next? Groups, teams, associations. When you get a bit of a collective, you do tend to join forces, so there's an exclusivity, or is it contracted? Do you join in every now and again, or are you exclusive to a particular channel? You're not allowed to work on other channels. I know I've watched Jacobs from United Spurs of America. He had his own little issue a couple of weeks ago and was not happy at another Spurs channel called Tottenham Away, where according to Jacob, they were saying how they were telling other people not to speak to them and they shouldn't work with them and don't talk to this person, don't talk to that person, blah, blah, blah. That stuff is sad and petty as fuck. I mean, are you an adult or are you a high school teenage girl trying to, be the queen bee of your class? Like, let people talk to whoever they want. Unless they're contracted, ain't nothing to it. They can speak wherever, because you'll see people like Matisse, for example. Matisse will be on Big Six, then he'll be on DR, then he's got his own streams. Like, there is something there to it, but I'm sure he can appear in any, unless there is a contract there, in which case then he can't appear to everything. Maybe there's something in it there. But again, exclusive or contracted, Nick giving a corporate presentation. Look, okay, I am trying to be as well presented and as thorough as I can possibly be. I know this comes across looking like I'm some mad wanker doing this, preppy, hoity-toity type of thing, but this is just what I've put together, because there's some things have absolutely annoyed the fuck out of me, and I've seen it from other people as well. They're annoyed. So I'm like, you know what? Let me make a little prezzo and present it to the class, shall we say. So yeah, that's why I'm giving you a presentation. So yeah, are they exclusive? Are they contracted? If not, then they can appear on whichever channel they want. And if they can, then you should not be crying and telling other people they shouldn't be able to interact with others because you don't like them for whatever reason. Payment types and structures. This always becomes a bit of a breaking point for a lot of people when money is involved, when ownership is involved. Who actually is at the brunt of it? So is it the person who created the channel? Is it the person who brought something in and then made it go to the next level? Are there other people involved outside of the actual content itself? Like, is there a greater company and then these people work for him or whatever? A lot of shit happens under the backdrop of the production, but it pretty much is a case of money always gets involved somehow. When there's two or more people, money always seems to be a bit of an issue. And that's one thing to look out for every single time. Yep, capitalism. It's a beautiful thing, man. Anyways, work, share, and involvement. Who does the work? Who has the share? Who is involved? Who does what? Are they a presenter? Do they produce? Are they there to moderate? Do they do the uploading? Do they do the marketing? Everyone has a role to play. What do they do? Intellectual property control with the question mark. So who created the branding? Who created the flow? Who is in charge of the structure? All that sort of shit there, that could possibly play a part. Because if two people have created something and one person wants out of it, did they create it or did they not? This is where you're going to look at it and say, okay, well, from a legal standpoint, who brought the actual intellectual property, who brought the branding to the forefront? Now, I'm not 100% on that. I'm not 100% on that. However, Joshua's giving the game away. However, I'm sure there is some sort of legality involved in this. If there is something to be said about people bringing their own branding to it, and if they leave and if they want their branding back, shit, that could be sticky time. And again, branding once again, which we've already gone through. What do we have left? I think there's one or two left. Fans and stands. Oh, where do we begin? Where do we begin with the fans and the stands of these personalities, channels, creators, etc., etc.? The good thing, supporting the personalities and creator or creators. Very good. That's how you get your viewership. You guys here, I would consider you guys supporters here, because you are here watching the stream, you're interacting, you're liking. Make sure you like the video as well, by the way. You're subscribing, you're doing all that good stuff. So you're supporting. You like the personality, you dislike, whatever, you like them, but you don't like what they speak about. I've always said it, I'll maintain it. I can dislike what somebody says, but if they're coming from an honest point of view and they're entertaining and they give me some sort of value where I'm having it's funny to watch or listen to, it's an interesting conversation, I'll back them, no problems. If someone comes in there and just spews me a whole bunch of shit, I'll be like, bruv, like, how are people getting on board with this sort of stuff? Either they're there for the memes, they're there for the toxicity, or they're there because they just want to see all hell break loose. That's my opinion there. backing the same opinions. Fans and stands will generally back the opinion of the person that they are standing, and a bit of a contradiction to what I just said, but more often than not, if you support somebody vehemently, more often than not, you will back what they say, and you wouldn't watch them as often and like them if you didn't like what they were saying. So it's different to say, I like Lee Gunner because he's honest, or I like Lee Gunner because he's entertaining. I like Lee Gunner because he's honest means you like what he says and what his takes are. Or I like it because he's entertaining is you like what he says, not so much for what he says, but what he says in a holy shit, this is hilarious type of thing. So there are two ways, nuanced, at least the way I describe it. But in my opinion, that's how it is. Disagreeing but not getting personal. Again, you can disagree but not get personal. I disagree with... Oh my God. Who would I disagree with? Terry, for example. I don't know if you know Charlie Brooker, but you are like him, but for YouTube soccer. I don't know who Charlie Brooker is, unfortunately. I don't know. I'll use Terry as an example from the Football Terrace. Disagreeing but not getting personal. I try not to get personal with anybody. Everything I say, if I have a disagreement or a counter opinion or a different approach to something, it's always on things that they say. So I disagree, but I try not to get personal. And if I do, I apologize, and I should be called out for it, rightfully so. And if I can't give a good enough reason or something that seems, plausible, then hell, I have to hold it all and just not do it next time, right? Calling others names. I copped a lot of this over the last couple of days, believe you me. It's massive. Absolutely massive. And it's mad to see people getting so shitty at a 2.1k sub channel because they dare to have an opinion about someone that they stan. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Crazy. Attacking anyone who disagrees with their person of choice. Again, going after the person. You're just wrong. You're just a hater. You're an idiot. You don't know anything. Blah, 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 etc., etc. You see these comments non-stop in videos. I believe you me, go to a Football Terrace video now. You'll see comments in the chat saying this exact thing. Defending their person of choice from attacks by others. Attacks used loosely, of course. Basically, the opposite of attacking anyone who disagrees with them is defending their persons. No, that's not what they said. You just don't understand them, blah, 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 etc., etc. These things happen. These things happen all the time. Don't worry. I have a little bit more left. The presentation may end, but we still have a little bit more to go. So that's the fans and the stands. That's the worst of the worst. Normally comes from these types of people, and it'd be nice if they could just be a little bit more objective and be a little bit more polite. You can disagree with someone. You don't have to call them out and call them idiots. I mean, hang on, I have to preface this. Unless they call you idiots and they call you dumb and delusional and all this sort of in words, fair enough. Get hell for leather. People say an eye for an eye makes the world go blind. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Someone says something to me, I'll something in return. Cool. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And last but not least, titles and thumbnails. Are they fairly titled and on topic? Question mark. Are they? Clickbait and or rage bait. Well, I've seen some people already make notice of that in the comments already, in the live chats. Certain people clickbaiting for Arsenal positivity, except that they'll do clickbait and you'll be fine. There's a lot of that happening. I've even seen Mark Goldbridge use terms like what Terry would use on the Football Terrace. It's mad. That shit actually works. It's crazy. I will not do it. I will resist. I will not do it. Exaggerated images, the reactions, the shocked faces and the oh my gods and all that sort of stuff there. That shit is just annoying to me. Cringe, shocked faces and reactions, all that sort of stuff. Are they simple or busy? Is it a nice clean cut thumbnail? Is it simple? Is there a lot happening? Depending on what the situation calls for, there could be a little bit of question mark in there. When sometimes a fly's a bit too busy, they got too much going on there. And even me, I try and keep mine as simple as, but I'm like, how am I going to portray what I have in my video without adding X amount of things to it? So you've got to try and simplify it a little bit. So he's going to be simple or busy. And speaking of McKenna, he actually has a very, very simple thumbnail formula, which is the club logo in the background, the player in question over it on the foreground, and in just like plain white text, no outline, no overlay, no fanciness, none of that sort of shit, no outline, no shadow. It just has like one word on there. It's mad. It's mad how it works, but props to him, man. He's found the good formula, so big ups to him. Filtered for dramatic effect as well. Well, everyone knows what this one is referencing to. Those stupid Snapchat filters with the shocked face and everything else like that. Mad annoying, mad cringy. I can't believe people do that sort of stuff.